In verse 6 it says, when I passed by thee, I saw thee polluted in thy own blood. And I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. Yeah, I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. See, we already know from the New Testament to the Old that we are saved by the blood of Yahushua Christ. But we got to remember our forefathers. We must remember that in Egypt, the Pharaoh had put out a petition that all the firstborn males be killed as soon as they come out. Just like in Revelation 12 with the dragon. See, Moses was found in his own blood by the Pharaoh's daughter. And through her, it was like the Lord had found Israel because he had saved us from death that was put out all through the nation of Egypt to kill all of the boy Hebrews, the Hebrew boys. So with that being said, the Lord saved us in our blood as a child. This really happened. He found us. It might not have been in the field. He found Moses rolling up the stream, and he even brought it back to the point where his own mother got to raise him in the house of the Pharaoh. But Moses loved his people so much that he came from a high state down to a lower state to be with his people and to fight for his people. In verse 7 it says, I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, thy hair is grown, whereas thou was naked and bare. See, the Most High see Israel, his wife, us as a nation, as a woman. A woman he found naked and bare in Egypt. And now that she is grown as a nation through Abraham, because he told Abraham he should make his seed as the sands of the seashore. We came into Egypt with 70 souls, and we multiplied and waxing great, more than the Egyptians, more and mightier than them. See, the Most High seeing it as an honor to see this young woman grow into a grown woman, into a nation that birthed the children of Israel, that would soon birth his only begotten son, Yahushua Christ. Now verse 8 says, when I passed by thee, I looked upon thee, and behold, thy time was the time of love. And I spread my skirt over thee, and covered thy nakedness. Yeah, I swear unto thee, and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord thy God. We got to remember, the precept to this is Ruth, verse 3, chapter 3, verse 8. And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman laying at his feet. And he said, who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thy handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thy handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. See, this skirt represents a covering, and the Most High is Israel's covering. He covered us up in our nakedness, from Adam and Eve to Egypt, and so on. We got to remember that the Most High isn't wearing a skirt. They're not talking about a skirt. They're talking about a covering, an eagle's wings covering over the nation of Israel. Let's continue though. And thou becamest mine. Then washed I thee with water. Yeah, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil, and I clothed thee with broidery work, and shod thee with badger skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. Let's stop right there, because he said he girded them with fine linen. We read in Exodus 28 and 8, we'll see the making of the priesthood. This is the Most High dressing up his nation of Israel to be kings and priests. The ephod was girded with fine linen and gold. We got to remember that. The Most High decked us out from head to toe as his child, as this child he found in the field. Let's continue. He said, I decked thee also with ornaments. I put bracelets upon thy hands, and chains on thy neck. And I put jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thy ear, and a beautiful crown upon thy head. Thus thou wast decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of a fine linen, silk, and broidery work. Thou didst eat fine flour, and honey, and oil, and thou wast exceedingly beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. Now this woman prospered into a kingdom. It don't make sense on the earthly level, but this is heavenly things we talking about. Jerusalem is a woman, and it's also a man. It's a kingdom. You have to be a man to have a kingdom, and you have to be a woman for your breasts, the fashion, and your hair to be grown. See, the Most High, Israel is the Most High's wife, and it's also his kingdom, that his son is coming to claim again. We must realize that we did eat fine flour, as it said in verse 13. We ate the manna from the earth, from the dew of the morning, from the Most High. We ate from the land of milk and honey. We ate from it before we lost it. And we did prosper into a kingdom through King David, through King Solomon. We didn't have it long, but we did prosper into a kingdom. That's why this lesson is called From Then to Now. I have to start from then before I can get to where Israel is today and how they still mimic and keep up the same behavior they did in the former days. That nothing has changed with our fornication and our greed and our lust for other gods and other beliefs. It seemed like the Most High just wasn't good enough for us. We always want to do what the other nations do. This is a perfect example of how something beautiful could be turned into a nightmare. Let's continue though. And he said in verse 14, and thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness. Now we gotta understand, if you don't know what renown is, it means to have a lot of fame, to be popular, to be known. So the Most High said, your beauty made you renowned with the heathen because of my comeliness. The Most High's comeliness that he put on us in the womb, that he put on us when he thought about us in the beginning, the Holy Spirit and us being made in his image in the heavens, it brought on the heathens, it brought on the other nations of the world. They were in wow and awe about us. And they just had to get their hands on us, but we were a set apart people. And we were, for the Most High, we weren't supposed to be for the other nations. The other nations were supposed to see us and say, is there any nation like this? So righteous, so clean, so righteous with their judgments. But let's see what we did. In verse 15 it said, but thou didst trust in thy own beauty, and playedst the harlot because of thy renown, and pouredst out thy fornication on everyone that passeth by. His it was. Here we go. We see this all the time in the world with the young woman or a young man who thinks they're all that. They think because they're known or they're famous or because everybody is in their face that, you know what I'm saying, that they are a friend of theirs. And they open themselves up and they give themselves to the world, to these people. And it said, thou pouredst out thy fornications on everyone that passed by. Not everybody that come by, they got to get a taste of your flavor. They got to get a piece of who you are. And then you lose yourself inside of this. I'm guilty of this. I done this before. I asked the Most High to forgive me for it. Anybody could get to a point where their pride is so high and they've lost their origins of who they are and how they became who they are. The comeliness of the Most High, you lose that when you live in the flesh and you got all of these outward things in the way, these carnal things, and you start to have these outward worships, and it's not even about the Most High anymore. It's about the world, it's about the flesh, it's about what the eyes can see, and you're not walking by faith anymore. You're walking by sight and what you see and what you could do with your power instead of letting the Lord establish you.